Andrew Hilton here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the paranormal investigations and why I don't record my investigations, or at least why I haven't. Maybe that'll change in the future, but I just wanted to kind of discuss that a little bit. I've been doing this for going on 20 years. I might not look like it, maybe. Some people say it, but I'm pushing 40. I've experienced things my entire life, so I've always had an interest, but I've always been in it for myself, my own understanding, and it's never been about getting likes and views and validation from others. But the other aspect of it is when it comes to filming. One, I do over 99% of my investigations solo. And I'm still here. No demons or ghosts have ever taken me out or killed me. Not number one. All right. But the flip side of that is, if you do experience something paranormal, one, I don't pretend that I'm a super genius. I always debunk things to the best of my abilities. And this goes for everyone. Like you can't account for every single variable in the paranormal. You just can't. No one can. So that's not to say that things aren't paranormal or are, whatever the case may be. But my issue is when it comes to filming, right? Especially when I'm doing things on my own. One, I've got limited equipment, cameras. Let's say I have 3 cameras set up in 3 different locations. Let's say I record for 2 hours each area, right? Or 3 different cameras going for 2 hours. That's 6 hours of footage that I have to meticulously go through. All right, so then you add more and more and more and more. That's just more stuff that has to be gone through, right? So it's mainly because it's a hassle, okay? And I always tell people, know what? If you want to really experience the paranormal, get out there and do it. Go experience it. It's paranormal. You have to take everything with a certain amount of salt, right? It's half the fun. Like, you don't have to be super serious and all the time. You can have a little bit of fun, right? You can. But there is a certain amount of etiquette that one should hold themselves to, right? You're going to a place, be respectful. I don't care about the spirits or anything. I'm not. You should be respectful to the spirits. What I am saying is be respectful of the location or wherever it is that you're at, the belongings, and just people in general, right? In the paranormal, everything's based on your reputation. If you don't have a reputation, you really have no leg to stand on. And I've always just kind of really wanted to avoid all of that before. It makes sense so far, following, like why I haven't like I said, setting up, I could have a camera recording, I'll see something and people, well, why didn't you have a camera pointing there or there, here, that? Because I don't have $1 million for 20 different cameras, and there's some channels that do, all right? I'm gonna start getting into that a little bit more, though. All right, when it comes to paranormal experiences, everything that's an authentic experience can be translated and faked extremely easily on video. Number one, I'm going to go with the flashlight method, right? You keep seeing all these YouTubers and other people coming out and doing it with these flashlights. My issue is, especially when something has been debunked time and time again over the years, and no, and that's really rare in the paranormal, because this has been debunked scientifically. All right, so when we do have at least a little bit of scientific information within the paranormal field, which doesn't happen very often, all right, all these people are just blankly ignoring the information. Well, why? Stop using flashlights. Because when you take them, the little twist ones, and you just twist it to where It's right between being on and off, just barely connected, or the issue is naturally the connectors will heat up and cool, right? The little metal prongs that close the circuit. They'll heat up and expand, they'll touch each other, the light will come on. It'll start cooling, and they'll come apart. It'll just keep repeating that process, right? So whether you have one flashlight, two flashlights, five flashlights, it doesn't matter. Eventually, most of them will probably start going on and off, just not on their own. So don't do it. All right. My other issue is the SLS camera. Don't do it. But when I'm talking about people faking stuff, even the Estes method, all right, there's so many people out there that have made it big that just fake a lot of stuff. All right. And I'm not saying, I know a lot of these people, all right, and individually, a lot of them are great individuals and awesome investigators in and of themselves. However, when it comes to the content, a lot of it's faked. And it can be. I'm not saying everyone and every single aspect of it is, but there's a lot of it out there. And it's so easy to do because, one, that they need the views, they need the clicks, they need the likes, they need the subscriptions, they need the ad revenue, they need to keep you entertained so that you keep watching, right? That's just how that works. And I know there's a lot of them, the bigger personalities and stuff, whether it's TV or YouTube, that go, well, we just don't share the content or air those episodes when nothing happens. They all claim, well, yeah, because we do go to some of these places and nothing happens sometimes. My issue, where is that footage? Where is that footage? You know what? You don't have it. Otherwise, you would be sharing it. And I know that you don't, because when nothing is happening, you make it happen. All right? Estes method, right? I don't know if you've ever experienced it. Like initially, I was not a fan of the spirit boxes or SB7. But then I used one a few times, and I've had some experiences with it where it's hard for me to just go, that was nothing, right? It's not to say that it's paranormal or not paranormal, but there are some experiences I've had where it's hard to dismiss completely, right? And the way an SB7 works, for instance, it's a sweeping or scanning radio. Pretty much it's a radio with the seek button modified to where it doesn't stop once it reaches a station. It'll just keep at a certain pace, just going through the radio stations, right? That's why you get that noise, because it's going through the stations. The issue is, though, when it comes to filming, right? And to these other channels and TV networks shows, and I don't know what the volume is set at, number one. I don't, and I don't know why they're not recording their sessions, because I brought it up in my last video. The two that I know of right off the top of my head, I'm sure there's plenty of others, but you've got the Zoom and you've got Tascam, who make recorders that they start at probably like $80 to $100, and they're really good recorders. But they have an input, so you can take the headphone jack or whatever, the speaker jack on the SB7, plug a cord into it, and then plug it into this recorder. So that way it's recording the audio session coming through the SB7 or the portal or whatever device it is that you're using. So it's a multi-track recorder, right? And obviously they have other recorders that have multiple tracks, 4 tracks, 8 track, whatever, and the price gets exponentially, larger the more tracks you want to record at once. But you don't need all that. Even just using the single track one, recording that audio from the SB7 device or whatever it is that they're using for the Estes method, right? Because otherwise, when you've got a group of people in a room, most of these rooms aren't very big. So they're, everyone else is, 3 feet away, 5 feet away maybe. And they're being loud. They're yelling out these questions. So I don't know how tight these headphones are. I don't know what noise canceling capabilities that they actually have. Or like I said, the volume of the SB7 or whatever device is going on. So I don't know that they can't hear the person next to them, because that sounds silly to me that they couldn't at all, right? So are they just saying words that are relevant to what these people are asking? Even though these people are like, whoa, wow, how that came through? But did it really? Because now I don't have the audio from the SB7 or have any indication of what was actually coming through during that session. So there's one instance where an Estes method is super easy to fake if you wanted to. I've gone over the flashlight thing. You can test that at home if you have one. Yeah, I know. And then people want filler content. They're like, I feel, right? Because you can't argue with how someone's feeling, right? So that's another big thing. And it's true when you go into some of these locations, like I said, you feel the energy shifts, or you just feel off in a certain area, and you can legitimately feel like that. But my point is, for camera's sake or entertainment value, I can just say it whenever I feel like. Technically, that's the other issue. And then you have all these other people that are either interested in the paranormal, or that aren't necessarily big or go out on their own all the time, but they've experienced something before, right? And they're like, oh yeah, well, I can relate to that because so you have all these people relating to these investigators based on BS, because they're trying to relate to your experience, and it's so easy to fake on camera. Like even right now, depending on how it's framed, right? If you can't see my arm, I can. What did you hear that? Because I mean, obviously, I'm still here talking to you, right? I mean, what is that? I could claim that's paranormal if I wanted to, right? Even though I'm just hitting the seat that I'm on. You can't see what my legs are doing, my feet. I could kick something across the floor. It'll hit the wall over the across the room, and that wouldn't necessarily come across on film, depending on how it's framed, obviously. So I could play it off as being completely paranormal if I wanted to. So I've always just really avoided all that chaos, right? Like I said, in the paranormal, the only thing you have to go on really is your reputation. And I know all these people are talking about, you got people out here that debunk stuff, right? And you're like, yeah, debunkers, yeah. I said, but then no one ever brings up like Joe Nichols, or all these great people that are known to be debunkers. I know some people say, well, he goes to an extreme because he doesn't believe in the paranormal at all. And you don't have to be a debunker. If you can validate or come up with why something's happening, that's all the reason you need, right? And I'm not here to convince you that the paranormal is real or show you that it's not. And then, like I said, and all these other big YouTubers or, other creators or network personalities, we just don't air the episodes or the information, like when we go to these locations and like all this crazy stuff is happening, right? And they'll claim, oh yeah, because sometimes we go to these places and nothing's happening. But then where's that footage, right? Where is it? You're not going to see it because it doesn't exist. Because, like I said, when it's not happening, they make it happen. And there's technically nothing wrong with it. All right? Because, like I said, a lot of these people are great individuals and investigators in and of themselves. But when it comes to content and creating, especially for an entertainment value, you have to maintain that audience, right? So there's no one that's made it big without BSing. That's just you can't find it. You can't show me one person. They don't exist. They do not anywhere, right? And if I'm wrong, show me, right? I mean, you've got the Warrens, for crying out loud. I don't like anything to do with the Warrens. All made up, all BS, but it doesn't matter what I say, right? Because no matter how full of it they were, they still influenced like a whole generation, all this big following. There's still a lot of people that believe half the stuff that they did. And they don't bother to look up the information or the research that's right there in front of them, or things that they said or did or how they did it. You could go to their website, and they taught people on their website how to take spirit pictures or photography, right? However, if you've ever taken it, not even just necessarily like a full-blown course, but just or a class, but any kind of training when it comes to photography, you will realize all they're doing and showing you how to do is manipulating the image without, adding stuff with Photoshop. But they're showing you how to get refractions on your lens and then calling it a ghost. So, I mean, it's not hard to disprove that stuff if you really want to. And like I said, and when it comes to legitimate paranormal experiences, even though it might be legitimate, it's easy to fake on video or film. Maybe there's someone else with me that's just not here on the video that you would have no clue about, because they're not on camera, right? They could be standing on the other side of a wall and hitting something. There's numerous ways that legitimate paranormal experiences can be faked. That's why I always tell people, if you ever really want to experience it, get out there, come out and do it. I'm hosting an investigation. Get a hold of me. Come out with me. Come experience it, right? You can watch my videos. Maybe it'll end up being entertaining, but I can't sit there and argue with you, saying, well, that wasn't a legitimate paranormal experience, because it just becomes redundant. All right, it's a pointless stance to take. That defending yourself, I mean, even the people that just clearly fake stuff, and I don't know why, right? I don't know what the big push is where everyone has to be a serious ghost hunter or investigator, right? Because you know what? There's content, and people love paranormal content, regardless. Same thing, people love comedy movies, action, horror movies. You're not watching a horror film going, no, what? That's so unrealistic. That is not a real serial killer. That victim would not act like that, right? So I don't know why some of these people have such an issue saying, yeah, we did this for entertainment value, right? So why is it so horrible to be considered a paranormal entertainer if that's what you want to be, right? You don't have to be some big authority in the paranormal world, because no one's out here doing scientific experiments or pushing the field further or trying to get actual evidence, right? Now, even if they say they are, why? Because they've got a REM pod, they've got EMF meter, because it's got lights and it blinks. But the issue is you have to understand what those things are picking up, right? Say the REM pod. Okay, cool. I have one. As a matter of fact, well, I'd have to lean off screen to get it, but anyway. Cool. Know what? But it can be easily manipulated. It's been shown. You can use a walkie-talkie or whatever. It'll set it off. EMF meters. What is it picking up, really? And people have to realize it's not set at 0. It's set at a standard. So there's a standard amount of EMF all over, right? So these things are calibrated to not pick up kind of like the standard levels of EMF they're around. I'd have to research and look up exactly what that number is. But it's something you can look up if you want. So you don't just have to take my word for it. You can do your own research. I'll give you information and go, hey, maybe I should look that up. Because that's usually what I want. I want you to do the research. I'll say that I know. I can say that I know everything, right? But I try to be unbiased as I can in a lot of stuff. Even which is weird because I've been doing the paranormal for as long as I have been, right? And I also do tarot readings, but I haven't done tarot readings for all that long. Maybe pushing like 4 or 5 years. That's a whole nother story why I got drawn into that. However, but I don't talk to your great grandma, your great Aunt Ethel. That's not how it works for me. And I actually don't know anything about tarot or tarot cards. I do know a little bit about the history, and there's a lot of fake history out there. Number one, to make it sound more mystical than it really is. But I can't just draw a card and go, well, this card means this. Because the way I do it, I do intuitive readings. And I can draw the same card and it will mean 2, 3, 5, however many readings. It's not necessarily going to mean the same thing for each individual that I pull that card for, because I base it off of what I'm feeling. Why that works, how it works, I don't know. I don't claim to be some authoritative figure on tarot or in the paranormal. And I don't tell you how it works. I don't claim to be accurate. That's not for me to decide. That is for you or the client or the person that I'm doing the reading from to validate what it means to them or how accurate I am or am not. So that's not for me to say. So that's why I don't usually bring that stuff up. I don't make those claims myself, right? It's like psychic mediums. Now, what I've worked with people that have said that are psychic before. Now, me personally, take it as you will, right? It's not something that I can experience or that I have experienced. So that's why I don't generally bring that stuff up. I don't usually talk about that topic or subject because I don't necessarily know. I can assume, I can tell you that it's BS, right, if I wanted to. Because even though I've worked with people that have claimed that they have these abilities, they really just seem to kind of miss the mark. Gonna be honest. I've never been with one. That maybe there is someone that, like the paranormal on video, how it's easy to fake. You know what, being a psychic would be easy to fake if you really wanted to. So maybe it's just kind of falls in the same category. There's a lot of fakers out there. Some people are legitimate or experience things, but I can't tell you which ones are or are not. Because it's not something that I can personally see or validate or experience myself. Or at least I haven't to this point, right? So anyway, that is one thing I want everyone to take away from this. Always take everything you see with a certain amount of salt. If you want to know about the paranormal, come experience it, right? Send me a message, reach out to me, let me know, I'll take you out. Like I said, I do paranormal investigations. Sometimes I do public ones. I've got one coming up this month. Right now, this is the year 2024, going into September. So if you see this later, obviously it's not going to be the same event that I'm hosting, but the very same concept, right? All right, but anyway, there's my rant. But if you would like me to record investigations or get into it more or talk about certain subjects, let me know. Let me know what you want me to cover. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, right? And I will talk to you next time. Bye.